talking about friendship. I'm talking about character. I'm talking about hell. Fellas, I'm not afraid to use the word. I'm talking about a podcast. The good, the pod, and the ugly. Covering Miller's Crossing.
How did you get your voice to do that, kid?
Ken is a talking
Hello.
robot dog. Sounds great. Sorry, Thomas.
That's cinema, baby.
Sonny Corleone was a Long Island tough, big eggplant energy, but it wasn't enough. Quato lived in a belly, but he got one in the brain. My feet exploded messy, driving RoboCop insane. Clyde had a gun for fighting, Bonnie wanted one for fun. They was only 24 and 25, and she got 26 shots when they died. And there were squibs when they died. There were squibs when they died.
Christ. Hello and welcome to season 15 of The Good, the Pod, and the Ugly, a film podcast where we traditionally pair the filmography of notable actors or directors. This season, we're throwing all that out. We're doing squibs. It's a practical effect. Listen back to the previous episodes if you don't know what a squib is, or listen on. I'm sure we'll get into it at some point. Gosh, this is Thomas. I'm stoked to be here.
I am Ken, and I am totally stoked to be here.
This is Ryan, and I'm also pretty stoked.
This is Jack, and I'd say I'm like medium stoked.
Medium
So
stoked.
this is like a Goldilocks situation.
So typically, we have been doing a temporal pencil movement. We decided to skip next week's episode during the chronology, and to also flip it. So we're doing the first episode, the first release second. And if you don't know what a temporal pincer movement is, you are completely lost at this point. Ryan, you have something quick for that, right?
For a temporal pincer movement, when we start at the beginning and end of a film career, or in this case, a special effect usage timeline, and work our way towards the center?
Yeah.
Nice.
Damn. God damn, that was good.
Yeah. So next week, we're going to be doing 2000s, The Way of the Gun, and I'm so looking forward to it.
Woo!
It has nothing to do with my attitude today. But today, Miller's Crossing, 1990, the year of Men at Work and the Night of the Living Dead remake. Postcards from the Edge and Wild at Heart, White Hunter, Blackheart, The Rookie, and Pretty Woman, all covered on this podcast.
Wow.
Some of those are great, and the others are The Rookie.
And White Hunter, Blackheart. But
boo.
Wow.
Podcast over.
Shots fired.
so 1990, that's well before Jack and I were born, but we could watch things that predate us. Jack, is this your first time watching?
No, I have seen Miller's Crossing many a time. This is probably somewhere around my fifth viewing, I would say.
Ryan?
Probably about the same 5 or so times. I keep trying, you know?
Okay.
Oh, trying? Huh. No reactions. This is probably my 4th or 5th time, for sure.
This is probably my 23rd or 24th time.
Wow.
I've seen this movie a lot, and it's amazing how much of certain phrases, turns of phrase, are just part of my everyday being now.
Did you get What's the Rumpus from this movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
was
he says that
speculating
all the
about a
time.
hypothesis.
Hallowed by usage, consecrated by time. I use that all the time too. Speculating on hypotheses. Oh man,
It's not the
not
years,
to
it's
get
the
your
mileage.
reactions.
Different movie.
Different movie.
I do
Yeah.
like to wake up the kid in the morning by barging into a room and saying, "You giving me the hi-hat?" That really starts her day off great.
Since last we draw, my stomach's been seizing up on me.
Which hands the
A little
penny
less you talk, a little more you think. We could just do a whole hour of quoting. Miller's Crossing.
Should we
If
just
you
do
guys
the movie
want.
line by line?
You know what, Yeg? I believe ya.
So we've covered the Coens once prior on this podcast. For some reason, I thought we did Blood Simple, but I think I just watched it to watch it
No,
around the time that we did Raising Arizona during Nicolas Cage.
no, we did
season
Blood
4.
Simple. We did.
Oh, we did?
We did.
Why did we do Blood
Yeah,
Simple?
because we were doing like we paired it, and we did the movies by the directors before the Nicolas Cage movie. We had pairings like that, and it was
Beyond the Black Rainbow and Mandy and Blood Simple and Raising Arizona.
that's what we did. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Solid choices made.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a good run.
I'll update our wiki later. Or maybe our fan can do that.
Uh-huh.
They've gone from a listener to a fan.
Yeah.
Someday there'll be an air conditioner.
Someday there'll be a stalker.
What a dumb joke, Jack. Good job.
Miller's Crossing, 1990, the Coen Brothers' third film. Really, as far as what we know of the Coen Brothers today and having their whole filmography behind them, this was the one film that was, I don't want to say make it or break it because it was not a financial success at the time, but creatively, this was like a huge leap over their first two films and a very important part of their journey into becoming the Coens.
So they did a period piece that flopped, and they were like, you know what we should do? Another period piece.
That's going to win all the Palme d'Ors and Best Actor and Director at the Cannes Film Festival, and then nobody in America saw it.
Yeah, that'd be Barton Fink. The first movie that the Coens would have worked on without Barry Sonnenfeld.
And their first with Roger Deakins.
With the Deke.
Yeah. Woo. This is, I guess, Mr. Sonnenfeld also shot, I was going to call him Barry, but that seemed really informal. He was shooting Misery around this time as well. Hey, did you guys know that this might have been based off of some written works?
The Glass Key by Dashiell Hammett, primarily, and slightly based on Red Harvest. Jack actually read Glass Key this week, and I watched both film versions of The Glass Key from 1935 and 1942 myself. Jack, you want to do a book report?
Yeah. The Glass Key by Dashiell Hammett. Pretty good.
Yeah.
No, it's great. It was my first.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to say compared to the movie, not a reaction to the movie, but how?
Oh, yeah.
How do you feel now about the Coens and Byrne after reading? Because Gabriel Byrne's in this movie.
Interestingly enough, we've actually talked about The Glass Key a little bit on this podcast before in our first season, because the Kurosawa film Yojimbo is based on The Glass Key and Red Harvest, same as Miller's Crossing, and the movie A Fistful of Dollars that Sergio Leone ripped off from Yojimbo.
But wait, Yojimbo ripped off Dead Man Standing, right? Or whatever that Bruce Willis film was?
Yeah, sure.
Yes, none of these films are actually credited to being based on Hammett.
No, but they are.
Yeah, they clearly use the plots. Yojimbo, a lot of Red Harvest, which is a Continental Op novel that Dashiell Hammett wrote. He was like a nameless private investigator who he wrote numerous short stories and a few novels of.
Yeah.
And if I remember right, Dashiell Hammett's Continental Ops and most of his other books are third person versus the typical first person narrator of noir.
Continental Op is in the first person, but it's written like a third person where you never get any insight into like what he's actually feeling. Like the third person, he describes a lot, but you never know exactly what he's thinking, which is one of the things the Coens went for when writing Tom Reagan in Miller's Crossing.
Mm-hmm.
What else can you tell us about the book?
Well, the plot is vastly different. The main thing I think that the Coens took from the book very wisely is the relationship between Tom Reagan and Leo in the film is basically exactly the relationship between Ned Beaumont and Paul Madvig, who are the Tom and Leo characters in the book. It's very similar. I was really surprised reading it because I was going into it thinking, okay, this is what Yojimbo is based on. It's going to be a Yojimbo, right? Where he's playing both sides. And that only lasts about a chapter in the book. The other things that they really draw from are the characters of like the Dane and whoever the bad guy is. The what's his name?
Casper,
yeah, are pretty close to their book counterparts as well. And there's a lot of just innocuous sort of lines of dialogue throughout that are lifted directly from the book. Like when he says Leo thinks you're the original Miss Jesus, that's straight out of the book. But as far as the plot goes, the Bernie Bernbaum thing. Oh, I guess if you haven't seen Miller's Crossing, we should probably go into
Oh,
the plot.
good luck. Good luck describing the plot to somebody. Go ahead, Jack.
Okay.
Yeah.
Prohibition era, a nameless city somewhere in middle America. Tom Reagan is a rough living, womanizing, heavy drinking chain smoker.
Gambler.
Gambler, deep in debt. And his best friend, a political fixer in the city named Leo, refuses a request by rival gangster Casper to off someone who's been skimming money on fixed fights named Verna Bernbaum, because Bernie is the brother of the woman he loves and plans to marry, and to make matters more complicated, that is also the woman that Tom Reagan is sleeping with. So Tom stages a sort of defect to the other side as Casper's guys start to take over the city and gang violence erupts, and you don't really know which side he's playing, if he's going to turn on Casper, if he really is working for Leo the whole time, or if he wants to come out on top himself. Spoilers, he's actually doing it for Leo the whole time because he loves Leo.
Wow, that was great.
Thank you. Anything you'd like to add?
I'm surprised that you feel so strongly about his motive at the end, but I don't know that you're wrong.
That sounds like a reaction to a reaction.
I didn't comment on the quality of the picture whatsoever.
Okay, so that's the picture. That's the motion picture, Jack. You want to continue on with the book, or you got more to say?
Yeah, well, I guess the Bernie stuff in the movie is sort of like that is the whole movie. In the book, it's more of just an inciting incident that happens in the first third. And like he goes to New York, Ned Beaumont, as well. There's a whole chapter where he's tracking Bernie down to New York after he's fled. And in the movie, they sort of make that not something that's coincidental or adjacent to the plot, but something that is overarching by making about 3 different woman characters in the book into just one.
Yeah.
Vera is really the only female character in the movie. And I think very cleverly condensing some of those characters down, they have made the plot more intricate and intertwined, where everything is kind of pieced together by the end. And in the book, there's a lot of narrative digressions, and side quests, you might say. But in the movie, it all ties together. And I think it's really easy to watch this movie for the first time and not know what the fuck is going on.
And still enjoy it.
True.
Yeah. Yeah, it is definitely a movie that takes a few viewings to quite figure out. I think the first time I saw it, I didn't understand it, but I also really enjoyed it. So I kept at it. Now it makes perfect sense. I don't even think about the plot anymore. Yeah,
I ended up buying my copy of Miller's Crossing after reading Dashiell Hammett. I really wanted to figure out how to write Hard Boiled as far as the voice. And I'm reading it, Library of America collection that has Glass Key and 5 other books in it, including Red Harvest. And I was like, this seems familiar. I feel like I know where this is going. And I'd already seen Miller's Crossing. I was like, wait, am I remembering this all wrong? And so I bought the DVD to watch it. And this would be in the early aughts.
Yeah, and there's a lot of the Coens were very intentional about this being their Hammett movie, just like Big Lebowski is their Chandler movie, and The Man Who Wasn't There is their James Cain movie. Yeah, they are very, very learned when it comes to those early 20th century hard-boiled writers, and you can see that in a lot of their films. Obviously, this one. I watched the 2 movies, The Glass Key, 1935 and 1942, and I think they might follow the book a little closer. That the brother is also the son of the person running for governor, and it's almost like a mystery of who killed him, and it's the relationship between Ned or Ed or whatever he's called in the movies and Paul is very similar and carries through, I think, probably from the book to these adaptations to Miller's Crossing, but the plot veers off quite a bit. Although Jeff, the main henchman antagonist in both of the original versions, in the 1942 version is played by William Bendix. And his scene with little tiny Alan Ladd at the end, when he is threatening him in a little boarding room above a bar, is so menacing and weirdly sexual at the same time. And he sounds exactly like John Turturro. but his performance by the end of the movie overtakes everything. And then Alan Ladd had just become a star. Veronica Lake was also in it, and it kind of became a lovey-dovey thing by the end. But I would watch it just for Bendix in that third act, because he is so fucking good and menacing and weird. It really took me by surprise. Both adaptations, that's the only thing that really sticks out for me.
Did you see the name Jeff?
That's his character's name, Jeff.
Yeah, he's the Dane character.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I have some Danish facts, but I have a quick question for you, I guess, to follow up on those two movies. How's the chin music?
You know, he gets beat up a little. He gets beat up a lot in both those adaptations. I don't know if it's from the book where he's kept in a room and then he has to escape by burning a mattress.
Yeah, so in Miller's Crossing, there's a very brief and really funny scene where he's getting beat up in a warehouse and then the police storm the place and dunk him in some water to wake him up. In the book, there is a very surprisingly graphic and disturbing torture scene that lasts almost a whole chapter, where he's being kept in a room, and it doesn't even say what the Dane character is doing to him, but that his hands were working on him, which is like really scary. And yeah, he has to burn a mattress to escape, and then he's staying in a hospital. It's a whole big thing that they, I think, very wisely do not follow.
In both of the early adaptations, it totally has the whole narrative screech to a halt once he gets to that hospital room and has to recover for days and days, because it's set up like, hey, the elections in like a week and a half. And it's like, okay, we have a ticking time clock. Great. And then midway through the movie, he's like, I'm pinching nurses' asses for a week in the hospital. It's like, what's going on here?
So,
and
listener, if you got a bingo card, you can cover the space ticking time clock and also pinching asses.
Yeah, and speaking of narrative screeching to a halt in the second act, we'll get to that next week.
Oh, man. Yeah. I don't want to think about next week's episode, but I do like to think about Denmark. And here's some Denmark. I'm going to give you some Denmark facts in honor of the Dane throughout the episode, just because we've already done Irish and Ireland in a previous episode. Yeah. Dane means to do something that's considered to be beneath one's dignity, as in, she did not deign to answer the maid's question.
Oh, wow.
Very good. Is that it?
Oh, no, I got more.
Okay.
I'm going to wait till there's a pause. Yeah.
Okay. So Tom gets punched in the face 12 times, punched in the stomach or kidneys 20 times. He's kicked in the face twice, thrown down 2 flights of stairs, beaten with a purse, tripped while in full sprint, and nearly strangled to death.
Wow.
And it's all under 2 hours of a movie, and he doesn't spend 1 second in the hospital.
I mean,
yeah, Tom.
It's the guy from The Keep.
That's true.
So I didn't realize this, but co-star Marcia Gay Harden the next year would develop the role and star as Harper Pitt in Angels in America, the play.
This is like her first movie.
Yeah,
Miller's Crossing, and they interviewed a lot of people for that role. I think
they interviewed
Diane Venora. They auditioned.
Okay,
Diane Venora, Linda Florentino, Julia Roberts, Diane Venora, podcast favorite, I guess. Yeah, we've seen her a couple times, and she's amazing in this movie.
And she also looks like she is straight out of the 1930s, which I think helps.
Well, I watched the extras on the Criterion. There is no commentary, but Era interviews with Marcia Gay Harden. She looks completely different. She has a terrible early 90s haircut with awful bangs and whatnot. She looks completely nothing like she does in the movie. And it's just like a nice, gregarious woman, not at all Verna's drop dead glare that, we know and love at this point.
Yeah, my DVD doesn't have all the special features, I guess, of the Criterion. And I think my DVD in the circa 2000 release has scenes that might be cut from the Criterion. Or has moments. I think there's a moment where Byrne, after he gets knocked down the stairs after he's confessed to having slept with or been involved with
Verna,
that he gets it, has his head go into the bosom of a large woman in the bar. and she
Gets hit with
slaps
the
him or
purse.
hits him. I
Mhm.
I don't know if that's in the Criterion.
It is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
For some reason,
Yeah.
I thought they cut some scenes or trimmed it back a little bit on their director's edit.
And with the scene where Tom goes into the ladies' room, did you guys notice a totally hot, sexy woman dressed in a maid's
Yes.
outfit that is Albert Finney in drag?
What?
What?
Yeah.
Albert Finney really wanted to do it.
Wow.
He plays like a matron in the woman's room when Tom goes in there.
Huh.
If you
His
blink,
part
you'll
had
miss it,
wrapped,
but-
and he wanted to stick around, and so he decided to do that, to have that.
Yeah,
role.
he was a super late addition. Trey, whatever his last name is,
Wilson.
Nathan Arizona. Yeah,
Trey
he
Wilson.
tragically passed away right before shooting, and Albert Finney just jumped right in and had such a great time, like you said, dressing up in drag. He paid for Barry Sonnenfeld, had his wedding reception and his merit wedding after the shoot ended, and he paid for like fireworks and whatnot as they were there on the river, presumably near New Orleans.
Yeah.
So he had a great time for someone that showed up so late to a shoot. His part is completely indelible and hard to imagine anybody else playing him at this point.
And he's probably the most iconic part of the movie.
Yeah, which is probably why we're talking about this during Squib season.
True.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, we did say that we would talk a little bit more about Totoro. When did we say that? Did I just say that whenever I was talking about Do the Right Thing during our best or our favorites?
Yeah,
This is next level. Like I can't get enough of Totoro and that sweet spot of the late 80s into the early 90s where he is just the worst. Like the smugness of Barton Fink as well. Like it's just, yeah, he's really on a roll of being a terrible human being on camera.
Yeah, equally iconic as the Danny Boy is his meltdown when Tom is bringing him out to Miller's Crossing, take a drink, to shoot him, and he is sobbing and pleading, telling him to look into his heart. Totoro said everything was exactly as scripted, very little improvisation on a Coen Brothers set, but he did repeat stuff, so that was the one thing he added. But they pretty much just let him go when he was doing that, and it is, man, every time I watch that scene in the woods, which was also shot on a different film stock. The rest of the movie was shot on a Kodak, and then Sonnenfeld, his little piece on the Criterion thing. I mean, this guy knows his lenses and his film stock. Yeah, and then the film stock, because he knew that the greens would pop out too much. If you notice the interiors, there's a lot of green. There's a lot of earthy colors in this movie, and the greens really do pop. Then the Fuji stock that they used at Miller's Crossing, it's a little more muted because he didn't want them to just pop out, and he wanted it to be shot with clouds because he also wanted to have kind of a flat look to it. He was one of the great cinematographers, Sonnenfeld.
Yeah, and if you've never heard him talk at length, you should look into some of his extras or podcasts that he's done, because he is very dryly hilarious. He's one of my favorite people to listen to because of how much he knows. It's almost kind of funny. I have to laugh every time he really gets into the weeds of everything because he's such a goddamn nerd.
He is, and he will always figure out a way to shoehorn in that he shot 9 pornos in like 6 weeks.
His favorite camera, I believe. Yeah.
Yes.
Did you also on the Criterion? Does it also have that moment or that where Sonnenfeld says after shooting, Totoro comes up to him and like thanks him, and he says, like why? And he's like, well, I based my role on you.
And then Gabriel Byrne came over and shot Barry Sonnenfeld, and that's why he never worked with the Coens again.
Oh wait, so does he pull a Baldwin in that shot at the end when he's pointing at the camera?
Oh my god! We have to cut that out.
No, that was a good one.
That's awful.
Oh, come on.
Wait, which Baldwin? There's a few of them.
Danny.
Okay.
Are we at reactions yet?
I'm surprised that they re-recorded a new version of Danny Boy. Or is it Tommy Boy? It's Danny Boy, right? Tommy Boy's the record label.
Yeah, they recorded it to fit the pace of the scene.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I would have thought it would be the other way around.
No.
Wow.
Oh, you were thinking like Baby Driver, where it's cut to Bell Bottoms by John Spencer Blues Explosion.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No,
or a lot of Kubrick stuff. I guess, hey, we have another Raimi connection.
Oh, yeah.
He shows up outside. At one point, the cops are completely crooked and are taking out probably a speakeasy by throwing dynamite inside of it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And then I think Raimi's the person who shoots whoever comes out.
Yeah. And then gets shot himself. He gets squibbed.
He does get squibbed.
Yeah.
Gloriously.
And that I'm glad you brought up the feckless police who are just in the pockets of the political elites and the mayor. And the funniest thing is the second time Tom goes into an office and then the mayor and the chief are talking to Casper the second time, but it matches it perfectly where they're all laughing and then they both turn around the same way. Yeah, complete absolute cynicism of both the police and the politicians supposedly running the town.
And my favorite joke is the chief outside the bars that are getting raided, and he's like to Tom, "I'm just the chief, so nobody tells me anything. I'm just the chief, so don't ask me."
That was Lee's my partner's favorite as well, right? They're like, "Hey, chaos is going on, and you're just having this casual conversation. Occasionally, like something will blow up, and he'll duck a little bit, and then just go right back to the conversation."
Yeah.
And it's that Coen Brothers absurdist humor that I think people who don't like Miller's Crossing, maybe on this podcast, anyone, what they bump up against our favorite saying. This is certainly what Roger Ebert didn't like about the movie. Is I don't even think he disliked it, but he didn't understand this elevated sheen that this whole movie has, where it doesn't take place in the real world. It doesn't take place in any actual city or any actual fixed year in history. It's this sort of elevated exaggeration of the cinematic gangster genre, which the Coen Brothers, I don't think this movie would be nearly as good if they didn't draw from movies like Yojimbo and A Fistful of Dollars and The Glass Key and The Glass Key book and all of the noir pictures that they're drawing from. They have such a complete fundamental understanding of all of the history of all of the art that is going into something like this, and they're able to make their own complete world out of it just because they've spent so much goddamn time watching movies and studying movies and early in their career cutting movies together. And yeah, I to me it works. I think it seems like its own complete little world, and it's so detailed that I find the whole thing completely engaging. That's why I've seen it 5 times. But I think for a lot of people that doesn't work, that the elevation or the exaggeration seems a little bit trite or maybe juvenile. I don't know.
Okay, well it sounds like we're there.
Reaction time.
Shall I respond to Jack's query?
Nope.
Yes.
Nope. Because we all know Great Danes from 2010's film Marble. But did you know that there are just good Danes? Like Dane G, short for Gordon Mouse, from the reboot of the 1980s British spy parody cartoon Danger Mouse, wherein a mouse with an eye patch doing spy work has his initials DM on the chest of his white turtleneck. Or
what the fuck are you talking about?
There's also another good Dane is Laura Dane from the X-Men series of Marvel. Unfortunately, that character, you'd have to watch the Fox television series The Gifted, or you have to be a really big fan of Emma Dumont, who actress also portrayed sister-in-law Jackie Oppenheimer in Christopher Nolan's biographical thriller Oppenheimer. Then there are mid-Danes, like Dane Cook, a comedian who doesn't live up to his last name, and Mazatov married a gal less than half his age. Oh,
wow!
Dane Cook's also an actor, as you know, from Simon Says, the 1999 action film starring Dennis Rodman, and later Good Luck Chuck, where he plays a dentist.
Yeah. Hasn't he been canceled?
I think he's been canceled, but when in 1999, Someone Shit on the Coats was really funny to me. I listened to that bit over and over again. So
that's a great Dane, a good Dane, and a mid Dane.
Yeah.
Thank you, Thomas.
And shitting on a coat.
And shitting on coats. Someone shit on the coats. Good bit. At least when I was 20.
Before film reactions, let's talk about the Squibs a little bit. Can we do the rat-tat-tat and talk about, this is like the rat-tat-tatist movie I think we've talked about all year. This has car squibs, wood squibs, trench coat squibs, suit squibs, window squibs, foot squibs, head squibs, and Raimi squibs.
True.
This one has it all.
Yeah. No silk squib.
No satin squib. You're right. Yeah.
Thank you, satin squib.
The Danny Boy sequence with the jitterbug dance of the guy getting shot and then doing the circular with his Tommy gun shooting his feet. One of the, I don't know if funny is quite the right word. You're just laughing at the audacity of it.
Yeah.
And how they're obviously having fun doing this. But this is one of the squibbiest movies we've seen yet. I think this will be up there with RoboCop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all great. I when we get to best and worst, I don't think there is a worst.
No.
Are we not at best and worst right now?
Okay, let's do it.
Okay.
Let me open it up so I can write it down.
I have a worst.
You have a worst?
I have a worst.
Okay.
The scene where it's one of my favorite shots in the entire movie when the Dane is in Verna's apartment and Leo's guys burst in.
Uh-huh.
And there's this great, really quick push-in on the Dane as he like twirls her around and draws his giant ass gun at the same time. But then he fires and there's sort of just a middling squib. Not a problem. But then the guy's still alive and he shoots him and there's no squib.
Does he shoot him through the wall? Or am I misremembering that?
That one's pretty good. Yeah, okay. That one is pretty good. And I really love that one because he shoots through the door and like the door starts swaying
I love
slightly.
that, man. It reminds me of going back to the Clint Eastwood season, Magnum Force, when he's on the airplane.
Oh, yeah.
And the guy's hiding behind the wall and he just shoots him through the wall.
Of the airplane?
Good. Well, it's yes, an airplane. They're on an airplane. It's grounded. Don't worry.
Oh, okay.
It's a hostage situation.
Less exciting, but more believable.
Yeah. So what was your worst squib, Jack? Can you explain that to me again? No squib.
No squib when he shoots the guy. He's asking him where Leo is, and then he's like, "How do I know you won't kill me?" And then he shoots the guy in the head, but there's no squib. You don't see it.
You know what, Yeg? I believe ya.
And that guy is so fucking good. Who's the guy that plays the Dane?
J.E. Freeman.
He is amazing.
I know, he's never really been in anything else. Every time I watch this movie, I like, this guy had to have an amazing career.
Yeah.
And he probably did, just not in movies.
He's one of my favorite bad guy henchmen I've ever seen in a movie. He's just so sinister. He was in Wild at Heart, really?
Yeah, they originally wanted John Polito, who plays Casper, to read for the Dane.
Well, that's before they realized that he had gained weight, I think, right?
Well, the Casper is like a guy my age in the script, so like really super old. And Polito at the time, believe it or not, was only 39 years old.
What?
He plays old though, and he really he knew that was the part. And I really think the more I watch this movie, the more I think Casper is the only one with any sense of a code. And all the other people do not. And I think Casper is kind of right the entire time. And Tom manipulates his belief in people being square with each other. And Tom really is kind of not necessarily a villain, but as a protagonist, he's not like a great guy, even though
he's awful.
Even though he loves Leo.
I mean, you did say that Casper was probably one of the best depictions of a father you've seen on screen.
Yeah, that's why I learned everything I know about raising children. I learned from Casper and Miller's Crossing. Jack can attest.
Well, everything I learned from my dad, especially the most important lesson, always put one in the brain. Ryan, I'm curious about your reaction because I saw
we haven't decided what the best and worst squib was.
Oh, whatever.
Well, we got the worst squib that there's no squib.
Okay.
When the Yeg gets it that he believes him.
But the reason I wanted to cover this movie is because of the Danny Boy sequence. I mean, it's legendary.
Yeah. That's great.
It's every single one. It's like the foot followed by the head is still that. I mean, that they do that in a lot of movies now.
Yeah.
But that is still the absolute best, and it is really gross.
Yeah.
Does he hide under his bed, or is he just? I'm trying to remember that sequence.
Yeah.
He's like in bed alone, sadly, and like in pajamas or something, right? A smoking jacket.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And his henchmen get taken out, or his guards downstairs. There's no police coverage that Tom had asked for. And then does he hide, or does he just grab his gun and shoot? I'm trying to remember if there's any subterfuge going on.
He grabs his gun and he rolls under the bed just as they burst in.
Okay.
And then they do 2 rows of Tommy gun shots that luckily go on either side of him under the bed.
Okay.
And then he shoots one on the foot, one on the head, and then it's on.
He gets the Tommy gun and he's hell on wheels.
I love when he throws the Tommy gun out the window and then it cuts to clearly a stuntman jumping out of the window. But it's like so fast and he's so badass. And really what I think the earlier 2 film versions, even though they're completely different, what they miss and what this movie clearly knows it needs something to shake things up, like a big action scene. Also, you need to see why Leo is Leo.
Yeah.
Why he runs that fucking town. And after that scene, because before that scene, he's kind of like a love-struck little puppy in a lot of ways. But after that scene, you're like, okay, this is a guy that is clearly the political boss of this nameless city.
Yeah.
I agree seeing him throw that Tommy gun out. And you're like, whoa, what's going on? And then he jumps out after it is a baller move. All right. It's a superhero move. But
the cigar in his pocket. For later.
Yeah. I would have preferred he just do a quick cross-dressing change. And hide. And then shoot everybody up in drag. It'd be great.
And then, pretend he's the matron from the club. Oh, the Shenandoah Club. The funniest thing. There's 3 establishing shots.
Yep.
And every single one has a stupid horn sound. It's like the only time you hear that in the movie is they show just the plaque. And it's like, whatever those fucking old horns work.
That's my favorite because there aren't really too many street scenes because obviously there wasn't a huge budget for this movie, but there's no like shots of the sun rising over the city or anything. And a lot of that was just, a budget constraint. But it leads to stuff that's really funny and creative like that. Just showing the plaque of the club instead of an establishing shot of the outside.
And then a sound effect to make sure it's the late 1920s.
Exactly.
Absolutely amazing. I'm really glad they changed the name from the Big Head to Miller's Crossing.
Wow, yeah. That's a bad name. That is a very noir name, though.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the Big Head?
The Big Head. That was what they called Tom, because Tom has he was the big brain.
Oh. Uh-huh.
Terrible title.
Yeah.
Ryan, thoughts on this movie?
Are we there? Is it time?
Yeah, we've been
Jesus
there.
Christ. Come on.
Did we agree on best Squib, by the way? Are we going with Foothead?
Yeah.
What? Okay.
Go for it.
I like the bed quite a bit, but the Foothead thing is very startling. It still is effective, despite what you said, Ken, about how it's been done over and over at this point. But when he pops that guy in the noggin, it's like, wow.
In the big head.
Yeah. It's like things go from a really naughty, K-N-O-T, naughty plot to like the shit just got real.
Yeah.
Bad Boys style.
This is an impeccably made movie. Everybody's doing a fantastic job. For me, the danger of the Coens' reliance on artifice is that sometimes it's just too insular. And Tom Reagan, to me, is impenetrable. And so I just find that, I've seen it multiple times. I really love the way it looks. The Danny Boy scene is one of the best in cinema, but without knowing what Tom is thinking, it feels to me like gangster cosplay. And it feels like a series of gestures without a point.
Huh. That's weird, because it seems like you like ambiguity typically and having your own reading on things, your own interpretation. wildly inaccurate typically, but some of your own. You don't like to be told what to think.
I think it's true, and I do like to have room for a hot or wild take in a movie, and ambiguity in the narrative does typically help that. I do normally need a protagonist that I can understand, even if I don't like or agree with them. Or, like, Lynch is just bug shit enough that you're not supposed to be paying attention to the characters and that it doesn't really matter what they're doing because you're there for the overall atmosphere. And I don't know, I think it's the way the Coens pay homage to old Hollywood that it just starts to feel too referential to be like, I was fascinated, for example, to hear both or maybe all three of you say that this is not meant to take place in a realistic world. And I've never really thought of it that way, but it has felt other gangster pictures, particularly in the 70s and afterwards, are trying to bring you realism about the time and the place. The Godfather and Goodfellas and stuff like that.
Those movies?
Yes. Other pictures. The Cotton Club. These are all movies that are obsessed with trying to make you feel like it was real, and so perhaps it's that element of this movie where it's taking place more in a referential world existing in other noirs than it is related to gangster history. That might be part of it too. But
I mean, I would say I think this is the same year as White Goodfellas and Godfather 3, or if not, they would come out right around this time. And so those are two different depictions of, I guess, gangster life. But I would say, I think you hit the nail on the head with, this is definitely a genre movie that exists in the genre.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess...
And those other two, I wouldn't say are part of a noir genre. I'd say that they're gangster or crime films.
And they're attempting to transcend those genre constraints, whereas the Coens are very snugly playing in that 40s noir sandbox.
So I think the problem, or the concern I had, because I think it was Lee's first time watching this with me, was that they'd get bored with the dialogue. I think you have to be, if you like noir talk and the rat-a-tat-tat, then you can definitely vibe and get on board with this movie. But if that's isolating or off-putting to you in the least, I think this might be a tough sit.
Well, and it's very strange because this movie, the Coen Brothers have a handful of movies that I feel this way about, despite the fact that Fargo and No Country for Old Men are two of, I think, the greatest films ever made in America. But I've seen it so, I know I have parts of this movie memorized, despite the fact that I don't really like it. Because I've watched it so many times trying to get it, and they have so many movies like that. Hudsucker Proxy, I don't really like, but on a recent rewatch, I can close my eyes and remember almost everything that happens in that movie. No other directors make movies that I would say I don't really like that I know so well, if that makes sense.
Not really, but...
How do you feel about Barton Fink? Because it feels like they have like a trilogy there, or a three-peat, if I remember right. It's all like 30s, 40s based.
Yes, I love Barton Fink because that goes so in there. They occasionally have this Lynchian tendency. It's not really fair to describe it that way because they were working contemporaneously. But Barton Fink, I guess, goes enough into American surrealism that it breaks free of that genre constraint for me. And then I also think unlike this movie, the subtext in something like Barton Fink or its spiritual sequel, Hail Caesar, the subtext is so powerful that really grabs me. Whereas this movie, I don't think is saying anything about the real world necessarily. Whereas I think those movies are.
Well, this is a movie about friendship.
Yeah.
I don't see that's one of the big, and this time on this watch, I liked the movie more than I ever have because it is so stunning to look at, particularly on such a low budget. I mean, it is a gorgeously made film. I enjoyed it more this time than ever, but I still don't know what Tom's motive is. I don't understand the shot at the end. I don't believe necessarily that he just loves Leo that much. I still end up as it's like a crime of opportunity, or his choices are all opportunistic, and it's hard for me to get in there and understand what he's thinking.
Yeah, and that's kind of what they were going for, inscrutable, hard to read protagonist. So it sounds like maybe they succeeded too well for you.
Well, admittedly, that is my biggest, when I don't like particularly works by great directors, when I don't like a Coen's or I don't like a Scorsese or something like that, it's because I don't have any character I can relate to. And that's
I think you bumped up against Elephant a little bit because it wasn't clear enough what Clark was going for.
Yes. Yeah, I like clarity. I love ambiguity in a movie, but I want there to be some sort of judgment, I guess, to use a harsh or stern word. Ultimately within the film, like David Lynch movies are all very ambiguous, but you definitely know how he feels about violence and evil in the world and these things, you know?
Yeah, I guess something I had watching this time and having you become a provisional host, then a host, and now whatever your status is, Ryan. And knowing that you like films from this era, that this is like tipping its hat to, is if you had any like PTSD World War II takes on the Tom character.
Oh, as being a veteran? Is he a veteran?
It would be World War One. I mean,
that would be. I mean, that's a type of interesting twist on a character that they put in some of their other pictures that makes it easier to understand where they're at or where they're coming from.
And as serious as you make it all sound, I mean, this is also like what their third movie in a row with like a fat man screaming.
Yeah,
that was like their thing. And this is probably their best. The boxer yelling, and then tells him to shut. And then Tom gives him the head jut, and he shuts up. And then the Dane who was originally written for Peter Stormare, and that was originally called the Swede.
Oh, okay.
But that scene every time, then he starts screaming, and then Barry Sonnenfeld's rushing the camera at his Dutch angles, and then Polito goes over and says something I always teach my boys. And then he shoots him, and then he rises up, and then the guy is screaming, and the camera pulls into his face splattered with blood, and he says, the way he says, always put one in the brain. I've seen this movie almost 24 times, and every single time I say the same thing. I go like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Amazing filmmaking, amazing how from writing it and storyboarding it and knowing exactly what they wanted, how powerful and indelible some of these scenes are, particularly that one.
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic scene. There are many fantastic scenes. Thinking about it now, I think the reason why Fargo and Big Lebowski and No Country for Old Men and some of these work much better for me is because they are commenting on the real world. There is something tangible that they're getting at that exists outside of their snow globe world.
I mean, Fargo is based on a true story, right? I think what I like about this film, and I believe that they had to like set it down when they were writing it. They ended up like writing Barton Fickey coming back to this, maybe, or but this was a tough one for them to crack. Is that what I like about a hard-boiled story, especially as like a Hamlet would write it, is that there was a logic to what goes on. Everybody has their motivation, and as long as you know what somebody's motivation is, you can move these chess pieces around on the board. Mm-hmm. And it's very enjoyable to see Tom do that.
Yeah. One thing I love, having written a book about the freeway system in the 1950s, and then the death of streetcars, is Hammett. Whenever he would have his protagonists go into town, there was always lots of streetcars. Mm-hmm. That was a common way for them to get around town. And to shoot this in New Orleans, where they were very lucky to have actual streetcars that New Orleans still has, is a very nice touch that somebody not as steeped in the 1930s or 1920s probably wouldn't even think to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the Barton Arms, the name of the apartment, that's because of Barton Fink with chair writing. And then there's a newspaper about when Leo's like losing control of the city. And then there's a side article about a number of people dying in a hotel fire, which is also a direct reference to Barton Fink. Spoilers for the end of Barton Fink.
Oh yeah.
So it is fascinating to think that they had such a problem with the plot of this movie. That part's not amazing because it's such a complicated plot. You know, how do you make this plot make sense? How do you use the exposition, the stuff with Rugg and whatnot? It had to be a beast to try and crack. It's not surprising they had to write something else and put it aside.
Well, then they had to get the biggest star attached, probably, which was the hat. I do think that the hat is an interest. Like, I mean, that's what they told Sonnenfeld, right? It's like, we want to shoot a handsome movie with hats or something. It was like his instructions. But there is something to that last shot you were talking about, Ryan, where his hat seems to be like a certain openness or a nakedness to having emotions and having attachments. And his hat is his armor, so that he's able to only the very end kind of meld those two worlds and show a little bit of emotion underneath his hat. But it's I like hats a lot in this era, or at least, no, I don't. I like how you can shoot somebody with a hat. It's like smoking, right? Like, smoking's kind of dumb, but it looks good. It looks great on camera.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think being able to have a hat and have things adumbrated, have things shadowed, or just a glint of an eye from a hat, like that's some great cinema language that we just don't get typically.
Yeah, and then the technical side of this, you talked about the budget not being very big, but the set dressers, beautiful offices that they dressed up to look like the late 20s, early 30s. Everybody was on the A game.
It might have been before IKEA and other very profligate, cheap stuff that you can just clutter your place with. I'm looking around the studio right now. But yeah, these also seem very sparse, like very high ceilings, a lot of floor without anything on it.
Do you guys remember in Hard Target episode where I talked about going to filming locations of Hard Target on my honeymoon?
Yes, in New Orleans.
Guess what the other movie was that I should send you pictures later that I went to that were
Bad Lieutenant?
Locations for Miller's Crossing. No, Miller's Crossing.
New Orleans?
No, we had. I don't think we covered that one at that point. Huh. Maybe we had. Anyway, I went to a bunch of Miller's Crossing locations, like the location where they do the raid, like I think the first raid, where Tom gets picked.
Oh, I'm sorry, in the movie. Okay.
When Tom gets picked up by the two guys, and then they take him out to Miller's Crossing, the Shenandoah Club. I'm hearing the car horns now that I say it. Yeah, we went to quite a few. Not all of them not most of them don't look the same as they did back then. Obviously, it was set dressed, but what a great city, New Orleans. And you can't even tell it is unless, the Danny Boy sequence you can. Those definitely look like Southern houses in a Southern street that he is on. But the rest of it just looks like any town.
Oh, speaking of towns, maybe you've heard the phrase, there's something rotten in Denmark. And as anyone who's classically trained knows, that's the Sex Pistols' unreleased live album recorded in 1978 at Copenhagen Stadium, often believed to be in Copenhagen, Denmark, but it was actually in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, United States, the birthplace of Copenhagen tobacco. And this is part of their ill-fated American tour. I just got Sid and Nancy on the Criterion Collection, the movie Sid and Nancy on the Criterion Collection. I'm not sure if that's part of the deleted scenes or not, but that's where the phrase "there's something rotten in Denmark" comes from. Is probably that album.
Okay,
nice job,
well done. Sid and Nancy was directed by Alex Cox, who is the director of one of our last movies we'll be talking about this season,
Walker,
Texas Ranger.
I have a question for Jack, because he's been quiet. Pop quiz.
What's up?
Hey, when do you think Tom gets involved with Verna? How early on? Like, are they first, or does he follow? Does he want whatever Leo has, or I'm sorry, not Leo. Whatever. I know it's Leo. Yeah. Is he just like? When does he decide to?
I don't think we're allowed to say that anymore.
Yeah. I'll take that out, Thomas. It's not the preferred nomenclature.
Save that kind of terminology for the next film, Thomas.
Oh boy.
Oh gosh.
I think because of my reading of the movie that Tom Reagan is a complete sociopath who really only probably has feelings towards Leo for something that Leo has done for him or saved him from in the past. Whether that had to do with World War I or not is not delved into by the movie. So I don't think he would do that just because he would know that it would hurt Leo. I think that they were involved first, and that's the reason he doesn't tell Leo, is because he doesn't want to hurt him. But that is because my reading of the movie is that Leo is probably the only thing that he cares about as a sort of father figure. And that's why he has to let him go in the end, like he has to let go of the hat in the dream or something. I don't know.
So why is it not that he is going to leave Leo because he wants the girl and he thinks Leo's losing it and is getting soft, and then he just doesn't like the way Casper does things? And my reading of the film, which I'm not saying is a good reading, it's like Casper, the way Casper is so violent that it just can't last. You can't run a city with that kind of poor manners, you know? Leo has a suaveness and a smoothness that is just like, this is a horse you can ride all the way to the end. And so without insight into Tom, I just see him as the most opportunistic character. And I didn't believe at the end that he cared anything about Leo, but he's just like, this is the best pick for who's going to be able to outlast.
Well, in a way, he ends up protecting Verna because Verna is better off with Leo.
Yeah.
And also he got rid of Bernie, who was kind of an albatross for his sister. A lot of the trouble she got in was because of her brother.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So in some ways, Tom is doing what's best for Leo and Verna, despite the fact that it's over between him and both of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of the decisions he makes towards that end are not in the best interest of the greater good. But that's why he's doing it. He has a sense of loyalty to Leo, and I do think he has a soft spot for Verna.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, who wouldn't? She's fucking great. Man, the way she says drop dead, give her the Oscar just for that. Oscar for best catchphrase, Marcia Gay Harden.
And I think even if you're not, trying to analyze Tom Reagan, he's just cool. I'm sorry, he's just fucking badass. He's got a mouth on him. He's a smart aleck.
Smart aleck.
He's chain smoking. He's drinking down shots as soon as he wakes up. He's losing all of his money and gambling away his head. I don't know. He's a fucking cool guy, and he gets headaches. And Gabriel Byrne, who isn't a very good actor, sorry, there's a reason that he never became a big
This is
star.
Gabriel Byrne's best movie, best performance.
This is
by a million degrees.
Maybe his only great performance.
No, Hereditary.
No, we've seen The Keep.
Hereditary is one of the best performances I've ever seen. Him in Hereditary.
Who comes away from Hereditary being like, man, Gabriel Byrne? No, come on. He's not the memorable part of that movie.
This is the great example of like, he's the audience's entry point for that film. And the whole time stuff getting crazier, as a psychiatrist, he's just looking around going like, I can't believe this is my life. And just kind of ignoring stuff. And then they set him on fire.
Well, I don't think he's a bad actor. He's a fine actor. But he's never been as, this is like a movie star role.
Yeah.
It's like captivating and charismatic. And the less you know about him, the more I find myself drawn to him, because he's cryptic and fascinating at the same time.
That's what I mean.
He looks fucking great too. Man, he's gorgeous in this movie. Ellen Barkin actually thanked Barry Sonnenfeld. She was married to him at the time. Says, "Thank you for making my husband look so handsome."
Yeah, I
just because they were standing next to each other.
I didn't mean to say that he's a bad actor, that I don't like Gabriel Byrne or any. I just mean like I feel the same way about Clive Owen. Like he's great in Children of Men, but there's a reason he never became a movie star, right? Like, just doesn't have that.
And that Ellen Barkin anecdote, she accidentally told that to John Turturro first because he was Barry Sonnenfeld.
Oh,
keep up,
right.
guys.
Okay,
on,
yeah.
Oh,
all right. Are we ready for ending this, or Thomas, do you have another Dane fact?
This is one we can definitely cut. Can you guess the number one cause of plugged toilets in Denmark, according to Scandinavian Plumbers Weekly and verified by the subscription-only magazine called Pedo Pipers? No? It's wooden clogs. Apparently, Danish school children are fed up by splinters and a condition endemic to Denmark called wooden ankle. And have been, okay, guys, you have to pardon the pun, because sabot, the T is silent in French, it's the wooden shoe of poor workers in the Francophile country of Belgium in the 1800s, when they threw their sabots into machines to cause disruptions in the capitalist machinery of the day. So that's how we get the word sabotage. So these kids have been sabotaging the traditions of Denmark and buying white kicks instead, though some kids draw swooshes on the side or like dry striping on their wooden shoes in an attempt to try and fit in with the cooler kids. All this has led to some deaths in the early 1990s by those who believe they could fly like Myken, a popular figure of local legend with magical shoes made by a knight that would allow him to fly. So that's another, I guess, Danish fact.
So, yeah, congratulations if you made it through that.
Ryan, thank you for the theme song. Mic drop. Thank you, Ryan.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Thomas.
Thanks for the theme song, Thomas. Way of the God next week.
Oh, wait, there's a kid, a dog, and a toupee.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
Whoa, who's typing?
What?
Are you writing this down? Kid, dog, toupee.
Scotch.
I'm making notes for my next screenplay. Yes, kid, dog, and toupee. Essential.
There were squibs when they died. They died. Yeah, they made a big mess when they died. On they follow Walker down South American way. It got squibby, sticky, messy when they got there that day. Peyton lost his love, and so he made a face. Django met a dentist, but big holes in little brains. Montoya's chest exploded, somehow wasn't the cocaine. And there were squibs when they died. There were squibs when they died. And there were squibs when they died. There were squibs when they died. Yeah, they made a big mess, and then they died.
I'm stoked to be here.
What a dumb joke, Jack. Good job.
Hands were working on him.
You can cover the space ticking time clock and also pinching asses. He's really on a roll of being a terrible human being. Are those movies?
Jesus Christ.
Bad Boys style.
My reading of the film, which I'm not saying is a good reading.
Gabriel Byrne.